Okay, welcome everyone to ARTIVISM, the power of art for social transformation. We are sponsored by Sing for Hope, Gottesman Libraries, Teachers College, Columbia University, and Adelphi University. Thank you to Dr. Stephanie Lake, who houses us in her criminal justice program in the Department of Sociology at Adelphi. Today we have Stela, Anastasaki, and Christina Vlachou that will be presenting. The student ambassador for today is Alison Cohen, who has her own show on Instagram, The Inspiration Show. I will put that in the chat for you so you can follow her. I will not introduce Alison. She will do a much better job at it herself. So Alison, take it away.
Thank you so much, Arji, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alison Cohen, and it is my privilege to be here today to introduce today's artivists and to speak about The Inspiration Show. So the dictionary defines inspiration as a feeling of enthusiasm you get from someone or something that gives you new and creative ideas. When I say inspiration, what comes to your mind? It could be a person, a place, a memory, a movie, or a TV show. An inspiration could be anything you want it to be. Now imagine the whole world turned upside down and you are confined to your home. Sounds kind of familiar, right? The COVID-19 pandemic hit and there was no longer a source or a spark of inspiration. During quarantine, I was impacted quite a bit, but after a long reflection, I was not going to let COVID-19 stop me from being inspired. It was after watching a movie on Disney Plus called Clouds. Clouds tells the inspiring true story of Zach Sobiech. Zachary Sobiech was a singer-songwriter and musician from Minnesota. He was diagnosed with osteosarcoma at the age of 14. With the very little time Zach had left, he turned to music and wrote his song Clouds. Clouds was Zach's goodbye to the world, his family, and his friends. After hearing Zach's story, something changed in me. There was a spark of inspiration. Zach's story sparked my desire to create The Inspiration Show. It was my great honor to have Zach's mother, Laura, be a guest on The Inspiration Show. I was also very inspired by an organization called Bake Back America, which inspires programs of kindness all over the world. Through Bake Back America, I have the opportunity to empower and give back to children with special needs. The Inspiration Show is a virtual show where I interview people who have inspired me or people with inspiring stories. The mission of The Inspiration Show is to inspire others through the stories and courageous efforts of those who have inspired me. If you would like to learn more, you can watch The Inspiration Show or share your inspiration by taking part in the show. Feel free to reach out to me through my Instagram page for more information, and the Instagram will be linked in the Zoom chat. And always be proud of who you are, because you may be inspiring someone by just being you. It is now my honor to introduce you to the inspiring Stela and Christina. Their pilot project Mind's Eye was implemented in 2020, which then led them to form Offstream, which is a nonprofit legal entity established in 2021. Mind's Eye was applied in parts of the museum space and to 10 artworks of the permanent collection of the MOMUS Museum of Contemporary Art in Thessaloniki, Greece. The Museum of Contemporary Art in Thessaloniki counts 35 years of existence. They applied a series of inclusive practices in the existing infrastructure of the museum so people with visual impairment have the opportunity to get in touch with contemporary art by themselves and form their own impressions and opinions from their experience. Christina and Stela have more than 10 years of experience in the field of culture. Stela is a cultural manager and art historian, and Christina is a cultural manager and curator. In 2020, they joined forces and co-founded Offstream, a nonprofit organization focusing in the fields of culture, education, and inclusion. It is now my honor to introduce you to Stela and Christina.
Dear Alison, thank you very much for the introductions and your kind words. We are very happy to be part of the ARTIVISM, the Power of Art for Social Transformation event series, a series that brings to light how the arts can redress inequities, reflect the voices of all, and push society forward. We truly hope that you will find the topic that we're about to present as inspiring as we do. And please feel free to join the conversation, make any questions or remarks, and we would love to hear your feedback. As Alison already said, I am Stela, and I am speaking on behalf of both of us, of myself and Christina Vlachou, who is my colleague. We both are cultural managers based in Thessaloniki. Oops, I forgot to share my screen. I apologize for that. Now, so we are both cultural managers from Thessaloniki, Greece, and for more than a decade, we have been active in the field of culture. A few years ago, while working together on a different project, we came to realize that although art suggests alternative ways of perceiving and experiencing the world that surrounds us, while providing a wide field of experimentation, culture and art, unfortunately, is not from all and not addressed to all persons equally. This realization was the common ground upon which we based our collaboration. What unites us is our great love for art and our common belief that art can become the medium for a better, more equal and inclusive society. So about 2 years ago, by the end of the year 2020, we decided to join forces and dedicate our energy to the creation of Offstream. As we consider it, Offstream is a common space for experimentation where new ideas find ground to grow, a place where creativity and inclusion can flourish. Having contemporary art in mind, as our main medium, we aim at an inclusive society where different cultural, artistic, and social positions find place and a place for expression. We design projects aspiring to challenge, inspire, and show a different way of thinking. As we see it, art and culture could and should become a common place, addressed equally to all, and this notion lies in the core of every project and event that we design. Today, we all experience the accelerated development of technologies, which provide us with a series of tools bearing the potential to transform our daily life in an extraordinary way, enabling the access and participation of the unseen populations in all aspects of life. Now more than ever, we found ourselves in a position where we can harness the power of the new media and assistive technologies provide to make art and culture not only accessible, but most importantly, inclusive to other social groups that are usually excluded from the experience of mainstream culture. In a few words, we could say that the projects we design are challenging established notions on, for example, how an artistic event or an exhibition should be curated. And later we will be talking specifically about the main features a cultural manager could apply to render these events inclusive. Apart from being inclusive, our projects usually are multisensory, meaning that we engage more than one of the main senses to our approach, so the users could have a holistic experience from the contact with art and other aspects of contemporary culture. In that sense, we can say that our projects are experimental. We love experimentation and we always welcome mistakes and errors that help us on a second level revisit our work and improve it. Also, most of the times, our events and projects require the active participation of the visitor or the user because we are sure that the best results are achieved through the personal experience, what in Greek we call vioma, or lived experience. Last, we aim to raise awareness of the general audiences in order for these practices to be multiplied by other professionals and serve to promote equity and change the field of culture as we know it so far. For every project we undertake, we approach it uniquely and focus on its characteristics. The methodologies we usually apply is that of design thinking, combined with the principles of universal design, as well as the principles of experiential learning. During the initiation phase of every project, we identify our target audiences anew. First, we research the topic that interests us, and we approach it from different perspectives. Later, we identify the tools, the media, and the assistive technologies that best serve our users' needs. And more importantly, in every project we create, we collaborate with people from the community to provide us guidance and test the quality of all the applications and the solutions we develop. In that sense, we embrace the motto of the community of persons with disabilities established years ago, nothing for them without them. Having the universal design principles in mind, every project we design is primarily addressed to persons that experience partial or total loss of sight in combination with 2 or 3 more social groups. These groups usually are deaf and hard of hearing persons, elderly that experience the gradual loss of their sight or encounter difficulties in their mobility, general audiences, and finally, cultural professionals. Our main aim is to make the necessary alterations to existing infrastructure or to newly designed spaces to provide the option that this exhibition, this art collection, or this event includes and may interest you as audience, and is up to each of the users to choose by themselves where they desire to take part in it or not. Because as far as we know, a few years ago, visiting a gallery or a museum was not even an option for the blind and visually impaired visitors. Also, we provide the users the option to choose the level of interaction they wish. Last, our goal is in most of our projects to promote the autonomous use so the users can get in contact by themselves with the cultural goods in order to form their own impressions and opinions from their experiences. I've already said too much about our approach and the methodology, and it's time to showcase some examples to get a better idea of our work. The project that inspired us to delve a little bit deeper in the field of inclusion work was Mind's Eye. Mind's Eye was a project aiming to bring in contact with art people who experience visual impairment. This was achieved through the research, the development, and the implementation of inclusive applications. These practices enable the safe access to the museum space and to selected exhibits, so all visitors could share an equal museum experience. The project was implemented in a section of the space and in part of the collection of Momius Museum of Contemporary Art in Thessaloniki, and was developed in collaboration with the museum, the Center for the Education and Rehabilitation of the Blind in Thessaloniki, in the framework of the START, Create Cultural Change Capacity Building Program. Interdisciplinarity is a key factor to most of our projects. So in the framework of Mind's Eye, as you can see, several professionals from different disciplines worked in close collaboration with us, with the museum's curators, and with a focus group of people who experience different stages of sight loss in order to ensure the functionality of the developed applications. In order to get a better idea of Mind's Eye pilot project, we will share with you a documentation video we created that describes our work and its results. The duration of the video is approximately 8 minutes, so sit back, relax and watch it, and we invite you to share, to note any questions to discuss at the end. We'd love to hear your insights and your feedback. Is the sound shared? Perfect.
Stella, the sound.
Σε μεγάλο βαθμό στην εικόνα. Αντιλαμβανόμαστε λοιπόν ότι άτομα με οπτική αναπηρία ή με μειωμένη όραση βιώνουν πολλούς φραγμούς και πολλά εμπόδια κατά την πρόσβασή τους στην τέχνη και το πολιτιστικό αγαθό. Θα λέγαμε ότι περισσότερο από κάθε άλλη φορά τα μουσεία διεθνώς έχουν καταλάβει ότι το κοινό τους δεν αντιπροσωπεύεται ισότιμα, ή μάλλον θα έλεγα ότι το κοινό τους δεν είναι αυτό που θα μπορούσε να είναι σε σχέση με την υπόλοιπη κοινωνία και κάνουν προσπάθειες έτσι ώστε οι πόρτες τους, οι χώροι τους, οι συλλογές τους να ανοίξουν πολλαπλά. Δηλαδή έχει μια σημασία και μεταφορική και πραγματική αυτό το πράγμα. Οπότε μπορώ να σας πω ότι σε επίπεδο διεθνούς βιβλιογραφίας, σε ό,τι έχει να κάνει με τη μουσεολογία, συζητιέται πάρα πολύ το θέμα αυτό. Το ζήτημα είναι τι κάνει κανείς στην πράξη. Το Mind's Eye είναι μια πρωτοβουλία που φέρνει σε επαφή με την τέχνη άτομα που βιώνουν μερική ή ολική απώλεια όρασης, μέσα από το σχεδιασμό, τη μελέτη και την εφαρμογή συμπεριληπτικών πρακτικών προσβασιμότητας.
Δημιουργήσαμε ένα μουσείο προσβάσιμο για ανθρώπους με οπτική αναπηρία.
Το πιλωτικό πρόγραμμα MindSci οργανώθηκε τον Ιανουάριο του 2020 και εφαρμόζεται για πρώτη φορά σε τμήμα του χώρου και της συλλογής του Μόμους Μουσείου Σύγχρονης Τέχνης, σε συνεργασία με το Κέντρο Εκπαίδευσης και Αποκατάστασης Τυφλών του Παραρτήματος της Θεσσαλονίκης. Στο πλαίσιο του προγράμματος, επαγγελματίες από διαφορετικά επιστημονικά πεδία συνέπραξαν με άτομα από την κοινότητα ατόμων με οπτική αναπηρία και ανέπτυξαν πρακτικές για την ερμηνεία των έργων τέχνης και την αυτόνομη πρόσβαση στον χώρο του μουσείου.
Ξεκινήσαμε κάτι από το μηδέν και με δελέασε πολύ το γεγονός ότι μπορώ εγώ να δώσω συμβουλές, ώστε ένα έργο τέχνης να γίνει προσβάσιμο για άτομα με αναπηρία. Και πώς μπορεί να γίνει αυτό.
Ήρθαμε σε επαφή με το συμπεριληπτικό design, διερευνήσαμε εφαρμογές και πρακτικές και αυτό που ήταν και το πολύ ενδιαφέρον στην όλη μας συνεργασία με το MindSci ήταν ότι έπρεπε να σκεφτούμε πώς αυτοί οι άνθρωποι οραματίζονται, έρχονται σε επαφή, η εμπειρία τους με την ίδια την τέχνη.
Οι πρακτικές που εφαρμόζονται ως οπτικοακουστικά βοηθήματα σε 10 έργα της μόνιμης συλλογής και σε τμήμα του χώρου του μουσείου εστιάζουν στην πρόκληση απτικών και ηχητικών ερεθισμάτων, ενεργοποιώντας το μάτι του μυαλού.
Έχουν ένα πολύ μεγάλο φάσμα διαχείρισης και εκτός από απτικά ή ακουστικά τελικά δημιουργούν ένα σύνολο για τα 10 έργα που βρίσκονται και σε 2 χώρους του μουσείου μας.
Εισερχόμενοι στο μουσιακό χώρο, ο οδηγός όδευσης καθοδηγεί τους επισκέπτες με λευκό μπαστούνι προς όλα τα σημεία ενδιαφέροντος και τα εκθέματα, δημιουργώντας μια διαδρομή που οδηγεί από το ένα έργο τέχνης στο άλλο με ασφάλεια.
Ένα βασικό πράγμα σε εμάς που έχουμε οπτική αναπηρία είναι να νιώθουμε την ανεξαρτησία και να απολαμβάνουμε όλη αυτή την ομορφιά των συγκεκριμένων εκθεμάτων που είναι μέσα σε αυτόν τον χώρο.
Για τη διευκόλυνση του προσανατολισμού και της πλοήγησης ατόμων με οπτική αναπηρία έχουν τοποθετηθεί απτικοί χάρτες στην είσοδο κάθε αίθουσας, ο καθένας από τους οποίους παρέχει κωδικοποιημένα σύμβολα που σηματοδοτούν τη θέση των εκθεμάτων και των σημείων ενδιαφέροντος του εκθεσιακού χώρου με τη δυνατότητα ακουστικής περιγραφής και κείμενα σε γραφή Braille.
Στο πρόγραμμα MindSci συμμετέχω έχοντας κάνει 3 απτικούς χάρτες για να γίνει προσβάσιμο ένα μέρος του μουσείου σε οπτικά ανάπηρους επισκέπτες.
Οι πληροφορίες που περιλαμβάνονται κωδικοποιημένα στους χάρτες αντιστοιχούν στις λεζάντες των εκθεμάτων, οι οποίες φέρουν κείμενο σε μεγαλογράμματη γραφή με τις πληροφορίες του έργου σε ελληνική και αγγλική γλώσσα και τη μεταγραφή του σε ελληνική Braille γραφή. Παράλληλα, στην άνω δεξιά γωνία κάθε λεζάντας, ο χρήστης έχει τη δυνατότητα να ακούσει την ακουστική περιγραφή που έχει δημιουργηθεί για το κάθε έργο τέχνης, είτε σκανάροντας τον QR κωδικό με το κινητό τηλέφωνο, είτε μέσω συσκευής αναπαραγωγής ήχου που διατίθεται δωρεάν στην είσοδο του μουσείου.
Οι ακουστικές περιγραφές είναι ένα κομμάτι πάρα πολύ σημαντικό. Νομίζω πως είναι αυτό που εξυπηρετεί τους περισσότερους. Πέρα από τα άτομα με οπτική αναπηρία, εξυπηρετεί και τους βλέποντες και νομίζω τον περισσότερο κόσμο. Πλέον στις μέρες μας τα άτομα με οπτική αναπηρία είναι εξοικειωμένα με την τεχνολογία. Εννοείται πως είναι προαπαιτούμενο να χρησιμοποιούμε το ίντερνετ, έτσι να υπάρχει κάποια σύνδεση, αλλά νομίζω ότι για μας είναι η πιο προσβάσιμη εφαρμογή. Σκανάροντας δηλαδή το QR code, να έχουμε την ηχητική περιγραφή.
Και για μένα ίσως το ουσιαστικό είναι ότι δεν απευθύνεται μονάχα σε ανθρώπους που μπορεί να αντιμετωπίζουν προβλήματα όρασης, αλλά στην ουσία σε όλους μας και είναι ένας τρόπος για να συναντηθούν αυτοί οι 2 κόσμοι που είναι ένας και να έχουμε μια ολιστική εμπειρία σε ένα περιβάλλον συνάντησης όπως είναι το Μόμους.
Οι διαφορετικές μέθοδοι απτικής απεικόνησης των έργων τέχνης Επιλέχθηκαν με σκοπό να δοκιμαστούν οι δυνατότητες του κάθε μέσου αναπαραγωγής και να εξαχθούν χρήσιμα συμπεράσματα σχετικά με την καταλληλότητά τους, τις δυνατότητες ανάδειξης διαφορετικών ποιοτήτων, το χρόνο, ακόμα και το κόστος της αναπαραγωγής τους. Απότερος στόχος αυτού του συλλογικού εγχειρήματος είναι να ανοίξει το πεδίο δημιουργίας συμπεριληπτικών πρακτικών και να προκληθεί ένας γόνιμος διάλογος ανταλλαγής, ώστε το όραμα για την ισότιμη πρόσβαση στο πολιτιστικό αγαθό να γίνει βίωμα και να υιοθετηθεί και από άλλους φορείς στο μέλλον.
Η αίσθηση που μου αφήνει καταρχάς είναι χαρά, ικανοποίηση, απόλαυση, χαμόγελο, ανεξαρτησία και όλο αυτό το πράγμα είναι μια τεράστια προσπάθεια.
Η τέχνη ανήκει σε όλους. Είτε υπάρχει αναπηρία, είτε δεν υπάρχει, είτε υπάρχει κάποια διάκριση ανάμεσα στους ανθρώπους, είτε δεν υπάρχει. Η τέχνη είναι από όλους τους ανθρώπους και για όλους τους ανθρώπους.
No. Okay, we got this. So this was the documentation about the project Mind's Eye, and here on the screen you can see the video credits, all the people that appeared in the video, and the organizations that collaborated during this endeavor. The result of this pilot application was the creation of a cohesive net of interconnected applications that combine audio and tactile stimuli and propose a different way of getting in contact and perceiving art beyond sight. Moving on to a different project, this time we thought to focus on sound, to create a common ground for the participants, who this time was a group of people with and without visual impairments. In Sonic Memorabilia project, we wanted to experiment with the sound and guide the participants to create their own sound collages. During this project, all the material we shared was made accessible to people with visual impairments, using all the accessibility features to the media we shared. The sound artists, Nefeli Sani and Eva Matsikou from the artistic and research duo I Broke the Vase, guided the participants to identify the sounds that surrounded them, to make field recordings and create their own sonic memorabilia. The project took the form of 4 online workshops that focused on deep listening, as well as the processes of sound recordings and the synthesis of sound collages. This project resulted in a series of sound collages made by each of the participants, 4 of which we are about to listen to now. This collage was made by Nikos Dimitriou. He's from Cyprus, and as far as I remember, is a person with a partial sight. And the next one is by Magda Kedroti. She's from Thessaloniki. The next one is by Greg Argyropoulos, who is based in Thessaloniki, Greece.
Όταν το λογικό μπορεί να δώσει τη θέση σου στο παράλογο. Και όταν προσπαθείς να δεσεις τη μουσική με άλλους ήχους, παραφωνία ή όχι. Ναι, παραφωνία.
This last one was made by Vlachou. And here is the slide with the credits of the people that participated in this project. It was a project that we loved working on and made us realize the importance of equity in all of its aspects, from the material we shared to the online tools that we used, even to the communication of the results through our channels. All the above were developed with great care in order to be inclusive. Furthermore, Sonic Memorabilia created through Sonic Memorabilia, a small community of people was created where all involved learned a great deal from each other. The variety of the material created led us to the curation of a podcast which aired on Stegis Movement Radio, and later during this year received an award for the best documentation podcast in Thessaloniki's International Documentary Festival. The last project we would like to showcase is the following, entitled the Inclusion Discourse series. We thought to share this last one with you because we found it very important to keep developing our practices and sharing best tools and practices with other professionals. During the last decade, we see the gradual transformation of the cultural field, which is very hopeful and very optimistic, and at the same time makes us understand the importance of exchange of knowledge. The Inclusion Discourse series was a series of online talks on culture, art, and inclusive practices. In that framework, we invited several experts from Greece, USA, and Germany to share methodologies on good practices through a series of video talks. You could find the list of the 4 talks on the link that I will share with you later on, so in case you are interested, you can watch it. This project concluded with a roundtable discussion where the experts delved a bit deeper on the projects and the methodologies they were approaching. Marina Markelou talked about the copyright challenges one might encounter when rendering artworks inclusive through translation on other media. Joel Snyder talked about audio description and its application. Gregor Struch shared the principles of universal design and its use in the work of his agency. And last, Esther Solomon talked about a project implemented in the School of Fine Arts in Ioannina, where the artists were invited to create inclusive artworks by themselves, presented in a group exhibition curated by the students. Concluding our presentation, we'd like to share a few thoughts on what we learned so far from our experience for anyone interested in pursuing this path. When designing projects to include persons with disabilities, it is not enough to talk about these social groups, but most importantly, to talk with them. The establishment of a focus group for continuous guidance and support and quality checks is highly important. The collaboration with organizations from the community of people with disabilities can provide valuable guidance as well as connection with the community itself. The approach based on the principles of universal design or inclusive design is proved to be beneficial for many social groups and other users beyond the visually impaired, as it enhances everyone's experience. The training of the staff of organizations for welcoming and escorting people with visual disabilities is essential. And lastly, interdisciplinarity is a key. On the right side of our slides, you can find the QR code with our contact information, which is available by scanning the code with the camera of your cell phones. Thank you very much for your attention, and we look forward to your remarks or questions.
Thank you so much for being our Artivists. Today is the closing event of the 3rd Artivism season. Artivism would like to thank all the artivists that are making a change, inspiring, and sharing their light. As a reminder, the Artivism Art for a Purpose exhibition is now on view at the Adelphi University Garden Campus, the Center of Women New York in Fort Totten, Queens, and the Offutt Gallery, Gottsman Libraries, Teachers College, Columbia University. Stay tuned for the 4th opening on the virtual gallery hosted by ART. For more information on this and all of the series past and upcoming events, please go to the website https://www.adelphi.edu/artivism/. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Artivism for Shared Humanity, or simply Google Artivism and Adelphi. Our YouTube channel is Artivism for Shared Humanity. If you would like to get more involved in this ongoing initiative, please contact the Artivism team at artivism@adelphi.edu. I would now like to ask if there are any questions for our artivist. Please use the raise hand function on Zoom. You can unmute yourself or ask your questions in the Zoom chat. Thank you.
Thank you. That was so inspiring. I guess I will start, as I usually do. What inspired you to start all this? Was there a point, a starting point, or something that sparked this?
Thank you very much for your question. Is very on point. Well, as I already said, me and I will speak of myself firstly. I have been working in the Museum of Contemporary Art as a museum educator for something like 8 years prior to this project. And always my main concern was to find ways to invite other people and social groups in the museum. And one day I just noticed that people with visual impairment never entered the museum space, and that was really understood why, because there was nothing inside the museum space that could be of their interest. So there came a time that I wanted to change my field after a small burnout. And there was the time where I met Christina, and we decided that, okay, this is a space that interests both of us. And we decided to join forces and to create Offstream. But more or less, this is the way that we went there.
It's not just those that are visually impaired, it's also the families, it's also their friends, their network, right?
Yes, everybody, and not only this social group, there are many more social groups that are excluded from the experience of culture. Now that we have studied it and we have been working on it, this realization is stronger than ever. And as far as I remember from myself growing in a small community in a village in Crete, personally, the first time I entered the museum myself was in the age of 20 years old. And this doesn't mean that the museum is open there for everybody. Sometimes it's not easy to go there. And I believe that inclusion is of major importance of us, not only as people interested in art, but also as females, as women in the arts and in this profession. We see many inequalities, and I believe that we believe that the last few years this conversation opened, and it's really nice that this conversation is out there, and the field started to change, and this is very hopeful.
Yes, definitely. And I'd like to ask a question. Creating and getting to make the museum accessible for those who are visually impaired, it must not have been an easy process, like you have said. What was your biggest challenge, and how did you and Christina overcome it?
Okay, there were many challenges that we encountered during this period, because when we initiated the project, this started in January 2020, and 2 months later, the corona struck, and it was a great hit for us, because imagine that most of the applications that we create engage the sense of touch, and it was a period that nobody could touch anything, or it was dangerous. Furthermore, the museums, at least in Greece, were closed for more than 3 months. So it was a big challenge to go on with this project in a period where nobody was allowed to touch anything or enter a museum. It is a miracle that this project was finished, and the result was the result that you watched on the video. But what shocked us actually is that when we were designing the project and we decided to create a series of printed material, which would be twin vision, meaning that it would have all the information that a person with his vision could see, could read, and also that the same material would have braille writing on top in transparent layer. So when we decided to go on and print this material, we realized that the braille writing, the Greek braille code, to be more exact, was not available digitally in Greece anywhere. And none of the organizations that work with blind people all these years here in Greece has developed a digital font that they could use in order to print that kind of material. And this was a turning point for us, that we said, okay, are we going for it and trying to do this for the first time here, or we're just letting it go? And we're very happy that we pursued that, and we designed our own Greek Braille font, and now we are able to work and do these things and develop our other applications as well. But the shocking realization was that, okay, we are talking about accessibility all these years and inclusion, and this was not, did not exist at all in Greece. Yeah, I hope that I have answered your question in too many words.
Well, you see how when you start one thing, it then becomes the launching pad for others, right? For other things to happen, like you were just saying. This was so beautiful, very inspiring. I got goosebumps watching the video, hearing their experience for those who have visited that are visually impaired. Any other questions or comments?
Well, I would like to say something. And Stella and Christina, I mean, your whole team, because you are a team, but you started the whole thing and I was there. And you are amazing. I mean, I'm always I admire you so much. And no, honestly, and you're you're very innovative. Your thought, you know, is very innovative. And you always say, I really like the Memorabilia project.
Thanks.
It made me want, you know, to close my eyes and just get emotion from just the sound, which was really nice. I just want to ask, maybe you said it already, but I'm not sure. All these pieces of art that you have, the 3D pieces of art, are you going to? You still have them, or they are not the property of the museum, right? Of Momus. What's going on with that? And
actually,
whether you're going to make like exhibitions elsewhere, or is it going to travel, or what you're thinking about?
Thank you very much for your point and your question, Irini, and the admiration is mutual. So yeah, after this project was finished, all these tactile aids, let's say, were donated to the museum. So this exhibition is still there. Not all of them are exhibited because these tactile aids are accompanying the original artwork. So whenever the exhibition changes, these pieces are moved into the the storage.
Warehouse or storage.
Yeah. So this was the first pilot application from which we learned a lot. And now this year, actually since the last year, the past 6 months, we've been working on 2 other projects, rendering accessible to other museums, so one in Larissa and another guided tour actually for visually impaired visitors in Athens. So we are hoping that by the end of this month or the next month, hopefully these 2 projects will be finished and we will have other results to focus on. And so, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Stella. Thank you, Christina, for all your work, for all that you inspire, for all that you do, being inclusive, being mindful. Thank you, Alison, for being our student ambassador today. Alison will be the youngest presenter this fall. She will be presenting at ARTIVISM sometime in October. Her initiative, the Inspiration Show. This is our last ARTIVISM presentation for the season. We will begin again early September, I think maybe mid-September. So we hope to see you all back. We hope to reconnect, come back, tell us of your work again, what progress you've made, what more innovative projects you are creating. So yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you too.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Oh, one thing, because Carolina always does this. What is your takeaway for today, Stella? If you have to say something for today, what are you taking away?
Be as inspiring as Alison is.
Yes.
From taking today, I'm truly amazed by her energy and her love of this what she's doing, and I'm truly inspired by her. So yeah, this is what I'm taking with me.
And I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the inspiring people like you. So thank you.
And Stella, Dr. Sorokin is on. Maybe you'd like to connect at some point because you do this inclusiveness, right? The diversity, interdisciplinary.
I've totally lost my voice.
Oh.
I can't speak, but I'm very impressed. So we'll be in touch.
Thank you. Thank you.
We will connect you. We will connect you. And Alyssa, thank you so much for being here today. And we will connect you with Alison. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. Okay. Thank you, Alison. Did you enjoy it?
It was incredible.
Wasn't it? My God. My God. Unbelievable. When you think about not just those that, you know, have these disabilities, but also the families, right? I have a friend who has a son who's, you know, who's autistic and really can't take the noises, and you know, she tries the headsets and everything. What do? Leave them home? You know, you want something that includes them. And with Dr. Sorokin's programs and, you know, designing of the museums, they can go as a family, as a group. It's very important, and things are changing. Things are changing, not fast enough, but they're changing.
Definitely.
Okay, so I will send you an email connecting you with Irini, right? Irini was the Vegeta Project who interviewed these women in the village and was trying to get them, but then COVID hit. What she was trying to do was create a program in their town hall, right? Don't think of anything big, it's very, very small, right? But in their little town hall where they would have computers and they would have young people teach the older women so they can go in, learn how to Google, maybe watch a video, and then COVID hit. But you saw they were yearning, right? They had this need to learn, to get into, you know, this technology that we've all just really grown up with and, you know, have come so used to using. But yeah, she'll tell you all about it. And with the Alyssa, who is the artist from Adelphi, I will connect you with her as well.
Awesome.
Okay.
Excited. Thank you.
And I'll share the video once I upload it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Alison. It's always so great to see you. Bye, Zubin. Thank you.
Bye.
Zubin's our biggest fan.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.